Hi, and thanks again for watching one of my videos. This video we're going to look at, it's another kind of beginnery tune. It's a lovely air called Oírr. It's a beautiful old melody, this one, and it's one that you could hear it played I've heard it played as a waltz. I just prefer it played slowly. I've heard some lovely versions on guitar and harp that play it quite slowly. And that's what we're going to do in this video. It's definitely one that's aimed at beginners, again, similar to my Oírr's March video on the Miller Maya. So this time we're going to be looking at more chords. The melody is always important in trad, but we're going to try and sustain every chord throughout this song. I'm going to put the tab for it on my Patreon again. I'll put it on here at some stage, but I think we'll put it up there first. So if you want to go check it out there, or get hold of the tab or subscribe to the Patreon, it's Irish Fingerstyle Guitar. I really appreciate your support for this. Just even watching on YouTube is great, but if you can go over to the Patreon, that helps me out even more, and definitely helps me to produce more videos like this and spend more time doing this kind of work. So for Oírr, we're going to be trying to swap as much with our index and middle finger on the melody. Here we're going to be playing larger, more full accompaniment is what I'd say. We're going to be playing full chordal accompaniment as much as we can, whereas with the Miller Maya and Oírr's March, we're pretty much just playing an accompanying bass line. Just pull the music in a bit closer so that I don't make any mistakes from the version I've tabbed out. It's a funny thing when you're playing. I found really funny about doing these videos is that you play a tune in one way, then when you have to, in a particular way I should say, then when you have to sit down and talk to people about it, it can be quite difficult to stick to playing in a really set way, in a way that I can communicate to people. So that's why I've always got the music to the side, that I can check that what I'm talking about is what you'll be learning about. So yeah, let's get cracking with this melody anyway. It's a beautiful old melody. The first two bars are the exact same in terms of the melody. So we got, that's played a good bit faster than I want it played actually, but we're going to play a G major chord. Now you can either pick this with your thumb, index and middle, or I don't mind if you draw through with your thumb as well. That's not bad at all. It's a lovely effect. What I really wanted to work on in these first two bars is sustaining every note. We want to end up with this lovely G9 chord at the end of it. So it could sound like this. You hear all those harmonies ringing out, resonating through the guitar. That's what we want over these two bars. So dwell on stuff too much. I'm going to try and keep this as concise as I can, so it's a nice short video to learn off, and you can replay as much as you want. Then I think I'll try to chapter it out for you as much as I can. So we're getting up to bar 3 here, and we've got we're going to put a C in the bass note. We're kind of hinting at a C major chord, or even a C major. And if you leave that B ring out, you get this lovely clashy C major 7 chord. I love those kind of suspensions, because now we're going to resolve it. We're going to go to a D, just an inverted D in bar 4. We're going to have our first finger on the F sharp on the E string, and we're going to be plucking the E, A and D strings. The melody note is on our D string there at that point. So those two bars 3 and 4 from the C would be, that brings us back to the same as melodies bar 1 and 2. What's going to change in bars 5 and 6 is the accompaniment. We're just going to take it to E minor by bar 6, and there's going to be a little journey for that. So in bar 5 we're going to play the G again. Again, you can draw through your thumb for that chord, no problem. Then we're going to go to an F sharp on this open B. It's just a leading note taking us to the E minor harmony we're aiming for in bar 6. And at the end of bar 6 we're going to add in a B to the bass as well, which is going to lead us to the next bar, which is starts off with a harmony of a C. So let's try bar 5 and 6 then. Try that again, sorry. That was bar 5. E minor here then. And then we've got that B at the end of bar 6. And that leads us to this bar, bar number 7. And we want to try and hang on to every note we can there, make it really clashy. That F sharp's going to lead us back to the G at the very end. And if you wanted, you can definitely strum through that G with your thumb. Just be careful to rest on the B string so that we end up with the G on the top as the melody note. So yeah, let's try the whole of that first part then. Really steady, yeah? After 3, yeah. 1, 2, 3. There we'd have a repeat. We can go back and repeat that first part there. Next, we're moving on to the second part. And the first part of the second part with a different harmony. I'm going for a C. I've heard this played with an A minor, even an E minor. I just like the lift of a C there, going to the 4th is nice. So you can either pick this. I think in the tab I'll say that we'll pick it. We're going to go thumb on the C string, index finger on the G string, and either your A or your middle finger on the bottom E string. Either one, doesn't really matter there. Or if you want, you could just play a full C major chord. It's kind of nice as well. Yeah, so that first bar. Then we're back to the G bar that we played at the start of the first part. Yeah, so those first 2 bars together. Next 2 bars of the second part then, that'd be bars 11 and 12. Bar 11 is like this. That's going into bar 12 there, sorry. So bar 11, we're going to have an A in the root against the E in the treble. There's your first 3 beats, and then the next 3 quaver beats. So we're going on this little journey in the bass from A to B on the A string. So that leads us to bar 12, where we've got a big A minor chord. Again, you can strum through with a thumb or do a little roll through your right hand, thumb, index, middle ring. Make sure your thumb catches the D string. Then we're going to use our little finger to play the D note there. And again, we're back to the bass for this inversion of a G chord, really. So playing the B in the bass there for a first inversion G. Getting back to a C major. In bar 13 is a repeat of bar 9 at the very start of this part. So I think I'll just go back and play the first 4 bars of the second part. After 4, after 3 even, I'll give you a counting. So 2, 3. So bar 13 and 14 are an exact repeat of bars 9 and 10. So and in bar 15 we've got a repeat of I'll say from bar 7 from the first part. Again, again, really clashy because bar number 16 leads us back to that G. Then carry on to bar 17. Yeah, I'll write it out like this. So we're back to that C. Then the G. And then a little bit of a change here. I want to go to a big C9 chord with G in the treble. So da, da, da. It's a nice little rundown, that one. Then you go into the F sharp from the G in the treble to the open E to the D on the B string. Open B then with the B in the bass back to the D in the treble. Leading us to bar 20 where we're playing A minor. That'd be a D, 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 D at the end of bar 20 then. So if we go from bar 17, just that 4-bar phrase there. So 17 from the C. Big C9. A minor. And again that leading note in the bass there that's taking us back to bar 21, and we're back to that C bar that we had at the start of this second part, and we're going to a G as well at the end, after the G bar, after in bar 22. And a little leading note in the bass there in bar 22 again, because in bar 23, guess what? We're back at C. Which is leading us home to this G at the end. So those last two bars of the second part are the same as the last two bars in the first part. So if the pace of this is quite quick, do pause and rewind, and I just don't want to be putting big 30-40 minute long videos out there, but let me know what you think. Definitely interested in your opinions and trying to keep these as concise as I can. And if you go to my Patreon, I'll have a play along up on the screen with this video, so it'll be a lot easier to follow what I'm playing along, and also there'll be a play along video with the tab along with that as well. And you can get the tab for, if you subscribe, you can get the tab for free anyway in all my other tabs. So yeah, I'll play this from the beginning, so I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Let me know what you think, and like, share and subscribe and all those good things, and I really appreciate you tuning in. So in a share, 1, 2, 3. you.